Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanura Mardhanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Tvameva Mata Cha Pitattvameva Tvameva Bandhusya Sakhatvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravidam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Amadeva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Gurudeva Deva Yatas Sarvani Bhutani Pratibhanti Stitani Cha Yatraivopashamam Shanti Tasmai Satchatmane Namaha. That's a Yoga Vasistha's invocation. We are doing the Yoga Vasistha part 2. We are coming from the Swami Tejomanji's collection of the verses. We are taking the second part, and even that is concluding. And this we are now the conclusion of the Sage Valmiki and to Bharadwaja. This is a Yoga Vasistha is Valmiki. He mentions about what happened to Rama and the teaching of Sage Vasistha to Rama as reported by Valmiki ji to Bharadwaja. And Bharadwaja, after listening and recognizing that Rama has realized after listening to the Sage Vasistha, asked the question, how are we going to realize? And for that, Valmiki gives the essential summary, and the first thing he said is, you have heard the discussion between the Sage Vasistha and Rama. Through that, we also heard the discussion between Sage Vasistha and Rama about the nature of the reality. Now, the Valmiki makes a recommendation to Bharadwaja and also recommendation to all of us who heard the discussion, and says we have to contemplate on the teaching again and again and again until the teaching sinks in, not just as a paroksha jnanam but as a aparoksha jnanam. That means it is about us, not about some truth somewhere Brahman. So I am Brahman has to be recognized, and that is the teaching, and that comes only, means I am infinite, and I cannot accept I am infinite even though scripture says so, because I feel I am finite, because desha kala vastu parichinnam, I am limited by space wise, time wise and object wise, and how can I be infinite? Because that even though scriptures is saying, and I have faith in the scriptures, but the faith is not strong enough to remove my habitual misconceptions that I am this. Why is misconception? Because I cannot be this. So when I say I am this body, I am this mind, I am this intellect, and I am any this, all biodata is nothing but I am this, I am this, I am this, and this, pages and pages of biodata, which I am not. Why? Because I am a subject, and any this is an object, and I cannot be an object. And this confusion is inherent in the, because of lack of knowledge of who I am. So in order to recognize who I am, Vedanta says so. What it says, you are infinite. So how can I be infinite is a question a rational intellect cannot but ask, because he feels intensely that I am this. So until I am this is dropped out, he cannot accept that I am infinite. So he cannot drop out because of habitually he is identifying with the body, my intellect, as I am this. So a teaching has to sink in slowly and steadily. Therefore mind has to withdraw from the notions of I am this and investigating who is that I am if I am not this. So neti neti is I am not this, I am not this, but who am I has to be understood, and that's what essentially reflection of the teaching of what Sage Vasistha gave to Rama. We have to reflect it, and that was advice to Bharadwaja also, that he has to reflect it so that Bharadwaja can realize, we also can realize it. And in the next 3 slokas or 4 slokas, Valmiki gives the essence of the teaching also, what to reflect on. Number 1, the whole problem is due to avidya. So due to ignorance. So ignorance caused the problem. So only ignorance can remove by knowledge. So knowledge is the only antidote for ignorance. You can do jump up and down and all that. If I don't know chemistry, what should I do? Go and learn chemistry. That's all the solution to the problem. So ignorance of chemistry can only be removed by the knowledge of chemistry. Oh, I go to biology. That will not help you. You have to get the knowledge of chemistry. You have to go to a chemistry teacher who can teach you chemistry so that my chemistry ignorance goes away. If I have biology ignorance, then I have to go to biology teacher. There is no point in going to biology teacher for chemistry knowledge. Same way, if I have a self-ignorance, because I don't know who I am. Why do you say I don't know who I am? Everybody thinks they know who I am. Because the very fact that I am saying I am this implies that I don't know who I am. I take the role of this for transactional purposes, but knowing very well I am not this, but at the same time I am using this only for transactions. So if I go to the airport and security there says, who are you? See, you have to, I am this, your biodata, your name, your date of birth, all those information you have to provide. So all that is this, but you cannot say I am not this, because then they will put you some other place. So obviously, for transactions it is required. So even Sage also has to, when he goes to buy airport security, he has to say I am this only. But knowing very well I am not this, he may use that I am just as an actor, knowing very well he is not really a king, but he has to say I am a king in the scene where he is playing role of a king. So he doesn't say I am an actor there. He has to say I am a king, because that's a scene demanding a kingly role that he has taken. He has put a costume of a king and acting like a king, and he has to say I am a king and behave with the audience there in the drama. Same way you can play the drama of life taking the role of a father, mother, sister, daughter, whatever role that is assigned by the prarabdha karma, and continue that knowing very well you are not that. That is what essentially avidya, ignorance of the problem, can only be removed by knowledge. And it says avidyaya jagat jatam nasti satyam ihanyapi. So ignorance of myself can only be removed by the knowledge of your own, and the knowledge has to sink in. It's not some knowledge of some object, it's knowledge of my own self. So it is aparoksha jnanam, immediate and direct, because I am referring to myself. And nasti bidnachita kinchitu swapnavatu idam jagat. So what about the world? If I am this, and what about all this, which I am not? All this is only apparent, and it is just a swapnavatu. There is nothing reality to it. It is only for drama's sake. Just as the actor playing the role of a king is not really a king, but he can play the role of a king in the drama. As long as the drama lasts, he can play. But if once he goes to green room, he cannot say I am a king there. He has to remove the dress and wear his acted dresses. So same way, I can play the drama of life, taking the costume of a jiva and play the role, knowing where I am not the jiva. So that is essentially the teaching is. And to arrive at this stage where the mind is ready to drop out what I am not as I am not, and what I am can claim, for that mind has to be prepared. Until you prepare the mind, or until the mind is ready to investigate, mind requires some locus for meditation and so on. So we bring in Ishvara. So initially Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Upasana Yoga, all are taught in the Gita, where this requires the presence of Ishvara. So Karma Yoga means Ishvara Arpita Buddhi. If I don't know who is Ishvara, how can I offer to Ishvara? So Ishvara Karma Yoga involves the invocation to the Lord. So Lord has to be understood, and then only it becomes a yoga. Same way Bhakti Yoga and Upasana Yoga. They are not substitute for Jnana Yoga. They are only preparing the mind. So Jnana Yoga Yogyata Siddhyartham, all preparations are. And therefore, including the Sakara Bhakti. Sakara Bhakti means invoking the Lord in a particular form, knowing very well, Lord not just the form, Lord is every form and includes every form also, and He is beyond the form also. So one has to understand it. So until that mind concentrates, so Sage Valmiki says, Sakara Bhajam Tavatu Tvam Yavat Satyam Prasidati. Until your mind is ready to contemplate on Nirakara, on the objectless, on that awareness or consciousness, which is no akara, that is infiniteness, where the self that I am, where it is beyond any names and forms. Until the mind is able to concentrate on the Nirakara Tattvam, that is the absolute truth, until then you need a Sakaram, you need a form, worship and so on to prepare the mind. But once the mind is prepared, you have to drop this automatically. That's what scripture also recommends you. Don't hang on to this. You have to uplift your mind to something higher. And that is the teaching here by the Valmiki sage. They are summarizing to Bharadwaja what he has to do in order to realize, just as Shri Raama realized. Now we'll take the next sloka here. Akhannam kshanamasinah, akhannam kshanamasinah, pasya samsara natakam, pasya samsara natakam, chidananda ghanam swachham, chidananda ghanam swachham, atmanam cha vibhavaya, atmanam cha vibhavaya, yevam stapyasi nityam ched, yevam stapyasi nityam ched, tirnosi bhavasagara, tirnosi bhavasagara. Together. Akhannam kshanamasinah, pasya samsara natakam, chidananda ghanam swachham, atmanam cha vibhavayah, evam stasyasi chet nityam chet, tirnosi bhavasagarat. So here Valmiki is doing a conclusive statement. This is that akhannam kshanam asinah. So akhannam, and here is a further instruction. Says, what should I do? Says, be a witnessing consciousness. Once you understand the Vedanta, reflect on it. Now start withdrawing your mind and look at the world. How do I look at it? As without any feelings to it, as impartial Sakshi. Sakshi means the one who is witnessing, as though you stand apart and look at the operation. Akhannam kshanam asinah. Kshanam means to the degree that you can start with the momentarily, start observing the whole world as though you are standing apart and looking at it. And if people who have studied or read Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi's, he wanted to experience the death. That's how we saw somebody dying in the house, and says at the same time the uncle was not protesting even they're ready to put a fire. When he was alive, he was very careful about himself, but now even they're putting a fire to the body, he's not protesting. So he wanted to experience the death. So when he was trying to experience the death, he reached a stage where he could stand apart as a witness and observe the body as though it is dead. So that is the witnessing consciousness. And here the same statement the Valmiki recommends for all of us, as at one point, once you understand everything is by your own self, you propagate, the whole universe came by you, sustained by you, and go back into you. You standing for pure existent consciousness that you are, then you can stand apart as a pure existent consciousness, as a witnessing consciousness, and observe, witness as the Sakshyam. Means what you are witnessing is Sakshyam. Witness is called Sakshi. So here, Akhannam Kshanam Asinaha, and stand apart without any judgment, without any evaluation. Is it a good or bad, whether dirty or something? Just stand apart and watch the drama of life, and that is the recommendation here. So Akhannam, this is a highest meditation, and that itself is a meditation, because not only you are witnessing, you are standing apart and looking at as a witness, de-identifying with the Sakshyam, but identifying with the Sakshi. But Sakshi should not be involved in the crime there. So you have to stand apart and watch what's happening there, and that's what becomes a Jagannatakam. Jagannatakam means the drama of life can be observed impartially if you can stand apart and watch. Standing apart and look other people doing, you can do it, but standing apart, looking your own body acting as though, and your own mind and your own intellect, that is because the same mind has to stand apart and look at again part of the mind. So part of the mind becomes an observing mind, and a part of the mind is an observed mind. The observed mind will going up and down, and the observing mind has to be able to stand apart. What happens is, this is what I learned when I was first time exposed to these philosophies, and I was reading J. Krishnamurti, and he said that in order to uncondition the mind, you have to stand apart and watch as a witnessing consciousness. So if you stand apart and witnessing, so instruction is very simple, but what happens is, because of the pressure of the vasanas, you cannot stand apart and witness without getting involved into the activities. So without your knowledge, the mind runs away with what you are witnessing, and it runs away. So therefore, it's very difficult to stand apart. You have to de-association. At least part of the mind has to de-associate itself without indulging in it, while at the same time the rest of the mind can indulge. So as a practice, this is what essentially Japa Yoga means. Japa Yoga means chant the name of the Lord. So instead of any thought or continuously running thoughts and ask you to witness it, it's very difficult indeed. But you provide a mind only a simple thought so that it doesn't go anywhere else. So a Japa Yoga is nothing but repetition of the same thought and the same thought and the same thought. So how do I repeat it? The part of the mind is repeating, at the same time the part of the mind to stand apart and look at this. So this operation has to go on where I can stand apart without. So the problem involves, you see, when you're standing apart, the mind stops chanting. If you are chanting, the mind cannot stand apart. So it has to be done by starting with a practice and slowly develop how I can stand apart and providing the mind a simple navigation tool. So sometimes, I ask people to, as you are doing mechanical things like walking or doing, so stand apart and observe yourself. So in that case, the mind is not actively involved but passively involved. Therefore, it can. But Japa Yoga, where you are sitting for it and contemplate it, is also a means to know, and that essentially a thought rises, same thought. So the mind doesn't go from one thought to the other thought to other thought, but observe the same thought repeated. Any mantra that is given to you, or you can take the mantra yourself. So then either Puranic mantras or just Omkara or whatever mantra that is that is where you feel the Lord. So it is your Ishtadevata mantra, that use it so that the mind doesn't run away from that field. And by taking the Puranic, the mind is given a broader range for the mind to. So Om Namo Narayanaya, Om Namo Narayanaya, at least it's around Narayana and not Shiva or some other, the running around one after the God. So a mind is provided, the Ishtadevata or the one that the mind is familiar with, so that it can indulge. So that is essentially the top instruction here. Akhannam Kshanamasinah. This is also without any judgment. Akhanna means without any without dejection or without a love or hatred and all that. Impartially, as though the things that are witnessed can be good or bad and all that. If I can stand apart without mind not affected by it, then that is what essentially the renunciation is. You are renouncing with the contents of the quality and contents of the thought, but claiming only pure witness, observer, as an observer observing it. It may be possible that the observed itself, the mind may slowly withdraw itself and become quiet, but now you are observing the quiet mind itself as an object. Who is observing? The mind itself. So mind, because there is no other instrument here. So that's why you are not some sort the pure consciousness that observing. Pure consciousness doesn't have to observe anything. It is infinite and cannot observe also. What is being observed is only a reflected consciousness, only observe. So mind activated only can observe. What about that? Observe the mind itself. A part of the mind, thoughts will be coming. Same thing happened when we have a knowledge of anything. When I see a table there, I see this is a table. Where do I see? A thought in the mind raises. Then who is a seer? Again, part of the mind as a subject. So subject, object, duality, thoughts both arise in the mind only. So I can stand apart as a witnessing consciousness and look at, provided I can withdraw my mind from the contents of the thought to that observer of the thought. So for every thought, it has to raise in my consciousness for me to be conscious of. So there is a subject, I am also rises along with the object. That's why Ramana Maharshi calls it Aham Vritti and Idam Vritti. This thought, and I thought, and I thought. So Ahamin Ashabad Jahavaham Taya. So this I thought, when I surrender that I thought to that which is because of which both thoughts are arising, then I am shifting my attention to the very essence of the I thought, which is the essence of I thought is nothing but the consciousness that I am, and essence of this thought is existence of the object. So consciousness and existence together for me, joining together for me to be conscious of the existence of the thought and therefore existence of the world. So here a very delicate instruction is being given for all of us. This is Akhannam Kshanamasinah. Stand apart initially one kshanam, a moment, and slowly increase the moment to longer you can watch it without mind getting back into the transactional world, and then see pasya samsara natakam. So natakam, the drama of life itself, you are watching in your mind. So this requires a complete detachment from the natakam itself for me to see, and the detachment can come only when I attach to something higher. So previous sakara, all that the worship of Lord in a form helps me to withdraw my mind initially. Now I am withdrawing my mind from any akara to that because of which I am conscious of everything. That is essentially the witnessing consciousness, and that is called Sakshi Bhavam. And Bhavam is also a thought in the mind, but at that time my attention is I am thought, not this thought. I am thought remains all the time. This thought keeps changing. So I am not shifting with the Natakam thought is this thought, where I am thought is a witnessing thought, and that's what is the instruction is. Akannam chanamasenaha pasya samsara natakam chidananda ghanam swacham. So chidananda ghanam swacham atmanam cha vibhavaya. So when I am that chit ananda, that is, I am that pure consciousness who is conscious of this. So as long as this arising, I am become conscious of this. But when I shift my attention as that because of which I am conscious of, that pure consciousness is no more changing. There is no more this or that. It is akhandam and chidananda ghanam. That means it is a homogeneous mass of pure consciousness that I am. So chidananda ghanam swacham. That means completely the pure without any the swacham atmanam, a pure self without any witness or witness actions and all that. It is a pure consciousness itself that I am. And swacham atmanam vibhavayaha. So essentially this contemplate on that. So here a contemplation has to be done by the mind. So manayeva manushyanam karanam bandhamokshayoho. So mind is required. Don't say the mind, we have to kill the mind or destroy the mind. All these the words are used because sometimes people have used that the mind dies. Mind doesn't die. Mind dies only one time. That is when once a realized master, when he drops the body, mind, intellect, that is the time the mind is gone. Until then, mind remains. Even after death, mind remains and goes to a different lokas and takes up a different the physical bodies in order to exhaust the next set of vasanas. So mind can never die, and that mind dies only when the videha mukti, that means when the realized master are realizing, and when the body, mind and intellect drops out, there is no more rebirth at that time. Then the mind merges into the Hiranyagarbha, and the body merges to Virat Purusha, and the intellect merges to Ishvara, and the one who is enlivening all that is only recognizes that Aham Brahmasmi. So Siddhananda Ghanam Swacham Atmanam Cha Vibhavayaha. So here the instruction is clear that one has to contemplate on that. Evam stasyasi nityam chet. And if evam, in this way, thus stasyasi, if you remain, and this nityam chet, and all the time, to the degree that you can remain in that state of witnessing consciousness, even when you are transacting in the world, even when the body, mind, intellect are transacting in the world, part of the mind is shifting attention to I am, I am, I am. That's why Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi says, Aham, Aham Taya Spurati Hrut Swayam Parama Purna Satu. So when I reject this, I am this notion, shift my attention to I am part, which is nothing but pure Satchidananda, and abide in the knowledge. It says Aham, Aham Taya. I am, I am, I am. That knowledge keeps ringing in the mind. That is Spurati, Hut Swayam Spurati, and it spontaneously raises in the mind, and that I am is different from previous I am, that I am this, I am that, I have been doing it, and that I am, previous I am is the Alpagya, Alpashaktiman, I am only this, I am only this, and everybody complains about whole world and so on and so forth, and that I am is a limited I am. But whereas now this I am is Paramam, Purnam and Sat Swarupam, Parama Purna Satu. That is of the nature of Paramam, supreme, Purnam, full, and it is of the nature of existence, which is same as consciousness, and therefore Satchit and being full, and it is Anandam also. So, evam stapyasi nityam ched. So, eternally I am abiding in that state of understanding. And tirnosi bhavasagara. So, in this way, if I abide to the degree that I am abiding, sasyasi bhavasagara, the ocean of samsara is crossed, provided I am shifting my attention no more and this and only I am pure. I can shift once I recognize that I am established in that. I can take the Natakam, Jagannatakam, and play the role of a game and go through, because I am still having a body, my intellect, because of Prarabdha. I can still transact in the world, knowing very well this is only a Natakam. Natakam is not taken for seriously, but it's done for fun, and it's a fun, therefore it becomes a Leela Natakam. Then only it becomes a Leela, means a play, provided I can stand apart and watch it. And that is the final instruction by Valmiki ji to Bharadwaja. And that was what instructions for all of us, and we'll see how Bharadwaja responds after that. So with this, we stop here. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.